Hello everyone, it's the Historical Gamer once again, and today we're returning to Ultimate General Civil War, the game which just recently came out in its 1.0 version on Steam. And we are returning to a series, I believe we're on part 15 or so of our series. We've just fought the Battle of Gaines Mill. We won the Battle of Gaines Mill, but only by the skin of our teeth. We are progressing to Malvern Hill, which is another grand battle, just following Gaines's Mill. And because we won at Shiloh and because we won at Gaines's Mill, the enemy army size is reduced. However, it's still substantially larger than anything we can bring to bear. Our army was absolutely butchered in that last battle. The first corps of almost all veterans was just thrashed. And we've only got about 3,000 men left of more than 12,000 men. Now, the second corps is in better shape, but these guys are all rookies, so it's going to be a little bit difficult to rely on them to hold the line in a kind of serious engagement. Now, we did win the battle, and we did get 2 more career points, so we can go ahead and use those before we refit anyone or anything like that to improve the army. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to spend 1 on army organization. This will allow us to increase the size of the brigades and our divisions. So that will make brigades up to 2,000 man strong, which will make building two large corps that much easier. So we'll go ahead and do that. And I'm trying to think of what the next, the next one we want to go with. I don't think we want to. I think we're going to go ahead and improve the training because we do have several veteran units. We probably want to go ahead and get some veteran replacements for our troops, but they're very expensive. So if we spend that additional on training, it'll cut the veteran cost even further. As you can see here, we've won every battle we've fought. So this is if we were a boxing champion, we'd be well on our way to, a title bout, given that we're, 10-0 now? So we're undefeated heavyweight champion thus far. Meanwhile, you can see here our 1st Division Commander is wounded. So we've got to replace that. He's the only Division Commander that needs to be replaced. Our 2nd Corps is okay. If we go to the barracks, we'll see here we've got several guys who are wounded, but other guys are coming back. So John Gibbon, who was our Division Commander, was wounded, but we're going to get William Sherman, so I believe that's Tom, oh my goodness, I can't even think. That's, I assume, the famous General Sherman. Then we've got Samuel Heinzelman, William Nelson. These 3 guys are all coming back. We've got Ian Baxter and Adam Looms, a couple of colonels coming back. And we've got really only 3 wounded officers, so that should help build our ranks out a little bit. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and assign an officer to the 1st Division. We're going to make that William Sherman. He's not the best choice. Nelson is actually a better choice, but I just like the idea of General Sherman in charge there. General Grant's right-hand man through much of the Civil War. And then after that, I don't think we're going to make any. Let's see here. The Iron Brigade needs a better officer. So we'll go ahead and give the Iron Brigade William Nelson, maybe? And that'll be a very solid commander, which will get their stats back up pretty far. Meanwhile, we've got to replace Terry's battery. Needs an officer, and I don't want to waste a colonel or anyone like that, so we'll go down here and get just kind of a cheap major somewhere. I hope that's sufficient experience for the battery size. It does look like you don't get a penalty there for that. Additionally, this battery had been 16 guns. It's down to 13. We're just going to go ahead and increase it back up to 16. And it looks like we've got these guns in the armory, so we could do it for free if we wanted some rookies behind the helm, or if we want to keep some veterans, then we can go ahead and select them. Now, it is $8,000, and frankly, I don't see a huge difference. Our efficiency will drop by about 5 if we go with rookies versus veterans. Our firearms will drop by about 13, and our stamina will drop by about 6, but they're not game changers. It's still a good battery if we go with rookies, and I'd rather save the $8,000 because we've got a lot of troops and a lot of experience we need to go ahead and replace. So we'll do that. We'll go ahead and save the money, and we are taking an efficiency hit here. Actually, it looks like our officer's rank is a little bit too low for the size of the battery. Meanwhile, we're going to go ahead and build out Hampton's battery as well. We've got 3 guns in the armory, so again, sort of same scenario, except it is a bigger hit if we, let's see here, 7,000, but again, I'm just going to replace them with rookies. Artillery hasn't been decisive for me thus far, and you can see here again, we've got a major in charge, so we are taking a little bit of a hit. Meanwhile, Edward Kirk is a lieutenant colonel, so he's in a little bit better shape. We've only got 2 guns of his in the armory, so it's going to cost us some money to replace his batteries, but we'll do it anyway. And again, 144 men and $3,500 versus going with the experienced guys, $8,000. I think these savings are well worth it. So there we've replenished our 3 divisions. We've replenished their artillery batteries. We're back up to 48 guns in the 1st Corps. Let's see here. Now we've got to go ahead and get to work on replacing our losses for our troops. So we could go with veterans or rookies in the cavalry's example. Go with rookies, you know, we lose quite a bit, but if we go, I'm just not sure 14,000 is worth it. I don't use my cavalry in kind of game-changing ways, so I think we're just going to kind of stick with the rookie replacements for our cavalry as well. I just don't think the added benefit of having veterans here is worth all that much. I use them more of a scouting and delaying force, and kind of probably in the next battle, I'll try and maybe harass the enemy flanks, given the next battle is Malvern Hill. It's kind of a straightforward enemy attack in that battle. So we'll go ahead and we'll just keep rookies on the mound for them, and save a little bit of money there. Meanwhile, we've got several brigades we need to build back up. The whole 2nd Division needs to be rebuilt with new brigades. The 3rd Division, the 1st Division largely just need reinforcements, the 1st Division needing a lot. So if we look here, these guys are crazy experienced. You can see the Springfield Brigade is a crack brigade. They would be our Guards Brigade if we were in a Napoleonic War. But we'll go ahead and we'll increase that. Now, look at this. If we were to increase them all the way up to 2,000 with rookies, you can see we would take massive hits. This would no longer be an elite force. It wouldn't be totally green. It would still have an elite core. You know, you look here and you still got kind of middling figures here. Compare that with kind of a green unit over here that has 1 battle on its boots, and it's still vastly superior. But I'm not sure we want to do that. Now, on the flip side, if we wanted to make them all veterans, 80,000 is a lot of money to spend. But this is kind of my, again, this is my elite unit, so I think I'm going to do that. I may end up spending some prestige or reputation to replace some of our losses. So we'll go ahead and build these out to 2,000. We're going to do the same thing with the Irish Brigade. They're a little bit cheaper. I think they had a few more men, and they're not quite as experienced. So we'll do that. And let's take a look here over at McCook's Brigade. What is it going to cost? 30,000. We'll do that.
Yes, sir.
And for Lepin's Brigade, I have a hunch we're not going to have enough money, and I'm right. So we'll go ahead and get these guys up to 16,000. With all veteran replacements, and then we'll go ahead and switch the remainders over to rookies, and you can see here, not too bad of a hit. Maybe I should have mixed and matched on the other brigades, but I didn't, and you can see here, not too big of a hit. We do have to pay a little bit to get some of those weapons, because we are out of those, but actually, do we have 2,000 weapons laying around? We've got 2,000 Harper's Ferries laying around, which are very good weapons as well. You lose some melee, but you gain a lot in efficiency and reloading. They're basically the Confederate version of the Springfield 1855. So we'll go ahead and do that. We'll equip them with those weapons, and then we can go ahead and you know, increase them up to the full complement of 2,000 men without you know, any cost. Now McCook's Brigade, which is a very good brigade, doesn't have a commander, so we're going to go ahead and give him a brigadier general under Samuel Heinzelman. He'll be good enough so that there's no penalty there. So this is sort of our initial stab at, by the way, we need to go ahead and pick a new trait for William Nelson. We'll go ahead and give them firearms course, which reduces reload time, actually reduces accuracy. Let's see. This makes them more accurate, but it also takes longer to fight. Meanwhile, this is better for melee, morale, and stamina. I think we'll go with the... let's go with the quick reloads. And then Heinzelman also needs to have a trait selected. So we'll go with kind of rapid fire. We're following the British Navy in World War II and focusing on, you know, rapid firing weapons. Okay, so the 1st Corps is largely rebuilt. We're shy 1 brigade in our 1st Division. We're shy 3 brigades in our 2nd Division, but the rest of these guys are all, you know, very experienced, built-up divisions. I'm actually going to transfer our experienced brigade under Heinzelman into the 1st Division to make this just an all-crack outfit, and then we're going to go ahead and transfer Lepin over into the 2nd Division. The 3rd Division is going to be a little bit more green, so we're actually going to go ahead and pull some of these reserves over, and we're just going to kind of, again, pick some green guys here. If we, you know, we don't really have, it doesn't look like we have any option, because we have no money. I suppose that's why it is. I assume that's why it is. Oh wait, no, we still have that option. Oh no, we don't. Interesting. So maybe the second, I don't know why it doesn't give you the option for veterans for some of these, but it does for others. Is it, there's just no benefit, I guess, maybe? I'm not sure. So slight hit if we use all rookie troops for Crocker's Brigade and Lynch's Brigade as well. I'm trying to see, actually, do we have anything else in the armory with sufficient weapons to outfit these guys? Doesn't look like it. So we'll just go ahead and we'll outfit Sidney Crocker's Brigade, and we'll go ahead and outfit Lynch's if we can. Rookies? No, we don't have enough weapons for them. We do for Buckley. So I'm going to go ahead and shift some troops around. So again, we just put this new brigade in, Crocker's Brigade. So we're going to have one experienced brigade in the 2nd Division, and then we'll have 2 lesser experienced brigades in the 1st Corps' 2nd Division. So there you have it. The first 2 divisions are rebuilt. Not nearly as good quality, but certainly, hopefully, this additional manpower, especially this 1st Division, the Springfield's Irish and Heinzelman's Brigade. Actually, the Iron Brigade was destroyed. Oh, wait, don't want to do that. Cancel. The Irish Brigade, what's this do? Oh, okay. So this shows you the records. What would be interesting is if we could see the destroyed brigades and their records, because the Iron Brigade was destroyed in our last battle. We should name Heinzelman's brigade, though, so we don't forget who they are. So we'll say Iron Brigade 2. So we're going to call them the 2nd Iron Brigade, basically. All right. So the 2nd Iron Brigade, and then the Irish and the Springfields are just an elite crack. This is kind of our old guard division, if you will. Meanwhile, the 2nd Division is largely reconditioned, so that's in good shape. And then the 3rd Division is going to be just kind of an amalgamation of forces. It's got some artillery batteries in it. It's got some cavalry in it, and that's about it. We don't have enough weapons in the armory to replenish this. Let me actually take a look here. We go into Malvern Hill. What's the setup look like here? So we can have up to 15 brigades defending, which is fine because our 1st Corps is going to be smaller than that, and then up to 15 brigades and reinforcements. Okay, so we should be good in both cases. Let's see here, our 1st Corps is up to 12,000 men, but we're still shy, up to 2 infantry brigades. I'm just debating how I want to, do we want more artillery batteries or do we want more infantry? I almost think we'd be better off having another battery of artillery. Maybe we even make it Napoleons. So let's do that. Let's take, All right, so first of all, we're going to need a little bit more money. So we're going to have to use our reputation here. We've got 33 reputation to spend. We could use it on some officers. We could also use it on some money or some manpower. We've got manpower, so I think I'm going to use it, 18 reputation on $50,000. That's not a lot of money, but it is what it is. So we just did that. It kind of evens out. We had a morale boost because our reputation was so high. Because we had to spend that, we don't have that morale boost. But that's what it's going to be. I'm going to go ahead and use some of that money to put a lieutenant colonel in command of this battery. Well, actually, we don't need to do that. The efficiency is really low because they're rookies. They're. You'd think a major would be sufficient rank. Even the lieutenant colonel on that. That's just because the batteries are too big, I guess. You can make him even bigger too. You can make him what, up to 24 guns? Do we want to consider that? How much would that cost? 24, let's say we did veterans, it'd be about 13,000. This would be a really big battery, though. I don't know if I want to do that. Alright, let's worry about rebuilding the infantry first. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and rebuild Lynch's brigade. It's going to cost us 25,000. Yikes. Oh, that's if they're veterans. Still 20,000. Because they have good guns. So we're going to go ahead and put Lynch in the 1st Division, or 3rd Division, sorry. And then I'm thinking we'll put 1 battery of guns from this corps in there. I just don't know what I want. Again, the efficiency penalties are really low for these guys because they're so new. I'm just kind of, again, these guys are all rookies anyway, so we're just kind of replacing them, and we do have to buy some weapons because they're not, Alright, so let's see. Do we have anything in the armory we can sell? Well, we've got some Harper's Ferries, which we don't have enough of. So we're going to go ahead and sell some of them. We're going to sell 1,000. That'll leave us some reserves to cover the casualties of the units, the one unit that has them. It'll raise $21,000, and it'll allow me to outfit the other division, or other brigade in this corps. So we're still a couple of units shy, a couple of brigades shy from full strength. We're going to go ahead and raise a new infantry brigade, and it'll cost a lot of money, apparently. And we don't have anything in stock. We could go with Lorenz's, but we don't have enough of them. It would cost $28,000 to do them with Lorenz's, $20,000 with Springfield's. Damn. Do we have anything else we can sell? We have some artillery. We've got 6-pounders we could sell. Or we could raise a whole new battery with 6-pounders. I think a new battery might be nicer. We'll go ahead and sell these ordnance rifles. I'm thinking we'll sell a couple more of these Harpers. I don't know. Let's take a look here. I'm going to raise a new battery. It's going to be a 16-gun battery. We'll put it in the 3rd Division. It'll be relatively cheap. We'll have a colonel in charge. And there you go. So actually, these guys are more efficient than some of our other actual batteries that we have. And I didn't mean to go with a battery of 24 guns. That was actually an accident on my part. But anyway. Okay, so this first corps is now fully built out. The first corps is 14,000 infantry, 1,800 artillery, 750 cavalry. That's 72 guns in this battery, or in this division, or corps, sorry. And let's see here. Infantry, is 1,000 really free or no? No, it's not. All right, so just selling off a bit of what we have in stock to try and get a little bit more money. Let's do 66. I know it'll come back to bite me next battle, but I really want to have as well prepared an army as I can have, so that'll give us 21,000 to play with. That allows us to build a new infantry. We'll shift everybody north here a bit. Up, not north. 2nd Division, 3rd Division is going to be small. Let's do this. Infantry Brigade. I think we've got enough money now. We do, just barely. There you go. So we've got a full 1st Corps and a 2nd Corps that has just as much infantry as the 1st, no cavalry, and a battery less in terms of manpower. I think that's about what we can do. I think that's the best that we can do here. I'm not going to sell off those because those will replace some casualties, and the rest we just don't have anything else in stock to sell off. We could use some reputation to get some more weapons. We could get some Springfields, and actually, that might be worth it. That would actually give us enough Springfields to outfit a whole new brigade. Now, we do take a morale penalty. Oh, no, we don't. All right. So that we are starting to drop down, though, at 20 reputation. We're starting to drop down a bit in terms of, essentially, if we lose this, we can lose this battle and we'll survive, but just barely. We'll be at 23. We'll be at 3 reputation if we lose this battle, so we won't get fired, but it's making this battle much more important to us. Let's see here. Let's make this 2nd Division a little bit better. Let's give them these newly purchased weapons. Yes, so we've got them there, and then we can go ahead and raise a new infantry brigade. With a major in charge? Really?
Yes, sir.
Ugh. I don't want to put a major in charge of that. And a colonel. Huh. I could use... hire Henry Slocum, use some reputation on a commander, but then we would have a morale penalty, and then if we did lose, we would be, you know, more or less destroyed. I think we're just going to have to take the hit of an infantry brigade with someone who shouldn't be commanding an infantry brigade, George Drayton. There you go. So we're almost to 2 full corps. We've got 1 full first corps, 1 brigade shy of a full second corps. 72 guns plus 48. So we've got 120 artillery pieces, and we've got 30,000 infantry. This says we're going to be going up against an enemy army of 50,000 men. I sure as hell hope that's not the case, but we will be in strong defensive positions, so hopefully we can hold out. Alright, so we'll go ahead and we'll get started with the Battle of Malvern Hill. Our first division, or our first corps is our crack corps. We're going to put them forward on the forward defensive position, and our second corps, our less experienced corps, will be in reserve. It'll give us 34,000 troops. If this is right, though, we might actually outnumber the enemy, as this is saying the enemy only has 31,000, so I guess a lot depends on how accurate our intelligence was. Now, the Battle of Malvern Hill was fought after Gaines' Mill, where the Confederates broke the Union line at Gaines' Mill, pushed the Union back, and a defensive position was set up on a long and largely bald hill with naval gunfire support in the rears. More than 100 cannons were lined up, gun end to gun end, and the Confederates basically conducted what would later be reenacted at Gettysburg in a sort of Pickett's charge type deal, trying to charge up with inadequate artillery support across this open position, and they were absolutely slaughtered. We will attempt to give to them as they would give to us. You can see here the Confederates are coming south. We're trying to defend Harrison's Landing, which is kind of where the Army's supplies are coming in along the river. Remember, we're on the peninsula, so we're kind of retreating back. It would be crazy if the rebels decided to attack the west side of Malvern Hill through swamps or rugged terrain, but we must be cautious, so the enemy could try and flank us down there, or use the bridgeways to flank us as well. So we've kind of got a very strong forward position, but we also need to make sure that we're not caught off guard and flanked. Okay. All right. So I think what we do is we're going to go ahead and put some troops in this wooded area. Like to kind of keep our Iron Brigade back in reserve. Kind of put these less experienced troops in this wooded area. I'm assuming that there are going to be some defensive works we can put these guys in. So Leppin and Buckley will go in the defensive works here. I'm not sure if there's going to be works further forward. The Iron Brigade is a little bit less experienced, so we'll kind of put these guys over here. And artillery should be... Probably make sure our artillery is as far forward as possible. I'd like to put the guns in the woods here. We'll see. They can fire from cover. I would hope there'd be more cover than that, but maybe not. Which ones are these? Are these rifled or... Yeah, they are rifled, so... We'll move them... They're a little bit further forward. They'll have some good cover. These guys, what are they? They need to be more in the open, so we'll put these kind of over here, I guess. And I think those really are only 2 batteries of artillery that we get to start with. That's not the whole first corps, is it? No, it's not. That's only 8 brigades. Huh. And we'll put some reserves back here. All right, so we don't start with our whole force. That's interesting. But we don't. So we'll go ahead and start the battle. So let's get these guys here. Here. And here. All right, so we're getting these troops all into position. I actually should probably go put the Springfields down here in this wood line to protect against enemies trying to cross the river there. And I think we'll put the Irish Brigade in this defensive works. Meanwhile, the Iron Brigade will be placed down south here to guard against crossing across this way. So no real reserve yet, but we've got troops that'll be kind of in range if we need to call troops forward. Now, the one thing that makes me a little uneasy is these wooded areas in front of our position will give the enemy a pretty good defensive bonus. If they try and attack through it. I think maybe what I should do is actually advance Leppin's guys into these woods. So as the enemy advances, we'll be in cover, and they'll be in the open. We could go ahead and put some artillery forward there as well. And then Buckley will guard against a flanking maneuver. He's going to be a little bit exposed out there, but if things are going bad, we can always pull him back. It'll also allow Buckley to kind of act as a reserve. And I'd rather have my artillery firing from points of cover. Meanwhile, the Springfield's down here, guarding any kind of flank, but they'll also be kind of a deep reserve. And the Iron Brigade, likewise, will be a bit of a reserve here on this slope. Okay, so we'll see what happens here. We've got our troops in position, or moving into position here. So Leppin, gonna kind of go here. Very good cover. Burke, likewise, good cover. And there you have it. The historical B gamer will move out to the left flank, and we'll see how the enemy advances. They could, again, try and flank us. It looks like they've got some troops over here, but it's going to take a bit of time for them to get in any kind of position to do that. I wonder if it makes more sense to place the Springfields on this side of the river. They could get in better cover, and there's more exposed positions around there. So we'll see. Enemy looks to be trying to soften us up a bit. Our artillery's inflicting losses. Infantry's losing a very slight amount to artillery so far. These are really good rifled guns too, so I'm glad they're in defensive position, because you can see they are getting hit by enemy artillery. Either that or infantry is, but they're able to more effectively shoot at these guys and do some damage. Leppin has very good weapons as well. I'm hoping this forward defense ends up making some sense. I guess we'll see. Okay, artillery just took their first casualty. We also, if the enemy tries to advance on this farmhouse, they're going to get caught between our infantry and Leppin and Crocker here. And ideally, they kind of get caught in some kind of crossfire. That's the hope, anyway. With this Kirk's battery firing along, literally directly into their flank. Hopefully. Gonna shoot that way, guys? Wait, what? Crocker's already breaking? What the fuck, guys? Alright. Iron Brigade, you move up here. Run on the double! I do not understand how that happened so quickly. Try and get the Irish Brigade in position. These guys, I mean, I knew they were green, but I didn't think they were that green. I mean, you're in a defensive work along a fence line in a wood. Cheat. Kershaw's charging toward the objective, trying to bring the Iron Brigade up. Leppin's not doing as well as I'd hoped. This forward defense may have been a bad idea. We'll find out soon. The Irish Brigade is into position. The Iron Brigade is forming up now in this fence line. Kershaw, I think he missed his opportunity. He didn't charge straight forward and take the objective. He actually allowed us to get into this fence line. So now he's going to be exposed. He's far too close in. And there you go. He's driven back. So we have some reserves. Oh, I think some reserves are coming up. We got some artillery. Oh, looks like we got a new battery of a new brigade of infantry. A couple of batteries and a couple of brigades of infantry. Crocker up as well. He's not really reserved, but we'll reform him. Let's get these cavalry into position here. So we've got some troops available now that we're bringing up. The Irish Brigade is doing a better job of holding their own. Braxton's helping with his artillery there. And Leppin has taken casualties, but he's at least delaying the enemy. He's inflicting more on them than they on him. That's good. Battery's not doing as much as I would like. D.H. Hill is arriving. We'll see here. Our left is a little exposed. As you can see here, quite a few Confederates are kind of moving around. Flank. Let's get Crocker into range. Maybe he can shoot over the heads of the Irish Brigade. Springfields are in position here in the woods. It's a very good unit. Meanwhile, our artillery will kind of advance here and hopefully get into some good firing positions. I think that's everybody. Right. So, Winder's Brigade is driven back. Oh, where Crocker's going. Move Lynch into reserve here in the center. Got a lot of troops in this wood area. We'll bring up our ammo wagon as it looks like our artillery's starting to run low. Leppin is holding out against overwhelming forces. I had hoped the enemy would be in a little bit closer. I'm actually thinking of advancing Leppin's support because he's gonna vanish away pretty quickly to nothing. Let's bring the Iron Brigade forward and out of these positions. Let's go ahead and put Lynch in, and it'll let us fire theoretically into Kershaw's exposed flank. If not, it'll force him to turn and take some of the firepower off Leppin. And if we can push Kershaw back, then we can try and roll up this Confederate flank with one of our best brigades. There you go. So Kershaw's pushed back. Now we can advance up the Confederate flank. Try and roll them up. Okay, you can see here we broke up this attack. One brigade was driven back, I think, by Leppin. The other by Kershaw was driven back by the Iron Brigade. Sims is kind of caught between a rock and a hard place. I hope. That's the goal anyway. So Leppin's routing now, unfortunately. Battery's about to get overrun. Okay, so we're going to pull the Iron Brigade out. Hopefully they don't get too volleys to leave. Won't. Burke's battery lost pretty heavily. But I think Leppin did his job. He inflicted some heavy losses on the enemy before they were able to do much of anything. I'm not sure there's much value in you being over here. I'm going to go ahead and pull you back. We'll have you kind of sit on these heights. Kind of mobile infantry. They can go over to help the Springfields if the enemy sends anyone around our flank, or they can be used as kind of an emergency force. Alright, so Hanging in there so far. Where are these guys charging? Oh, they're trying to melee with Buckley, huh? Alright, so Anderson is routed pretty promptly in his attack. Nice little volley there from Leppin into his flank. And Anderson's brigade is going the other direction. Meanwhile, on the right, it doesn't feel like the enemy's really pressing too hard against the Irish Brigade and Crocker and Braxton here. They're kind of feeling us out. They've got a lot of brigades in the general vicinity. They haven't really done much with them. Hoping they don't try and advance close to this river line and try and fire into our rear. That would be, you know, hopefully they're not able to do that. We're gonna go ahead and move Kirk's battery closer. Armistead is charging forward now. Range. Okay, so he's now meleeing with Buckley, or about to be. And Leppin's delivering a timely volley into Armistead's flank. Armistead is bested, and he's going the other direction. Meanwhile, on our right flank, the enemy appears to have advanced Garland's brigade to deal with the Irish brigade. And they've been given a bit of a bloody nose and driven back. And William Nelson, just fresh back from a wound, which you know, had knocked him out of our services for some time, is now wounded again. All right. Flanked and retreating. The Irish Brigade is bested. Crocker's rushing into position there. We're going to need another brigade over here very shortly. So we're going to move the Iron Brigade over into these woods. Don't imagine Crocker will hold too long. The Irish Brigade was geez, they were bringing overwhelming force there on the right flank. Man, there's a lot of rebels here. That's a lot of rebels. I don't think inflicting more casualties on them than they on us will be too much of a challenge in this particular fight. Here you can see the Springfields are nice and dug in over here in this wood line, dealing with Trimble's brigade, which apparently tried to get around our flank, so it's a good thing we posted them there. And the Irish brigade's going to move up a bit. Crocker will undoubtedly be driven from his position here very shortly. That may be okay. Oh, wow. Okay, so it seems to be a little bit of an exposed defense here. LZ getting hit by some canister. And being driven back. We don't really need to hold this defensive line. It's just kind of a forward position. We can always, you know, put the Iron Brigade here and the Irish Brigade in this good defensive position as well and kind of hang on. Looks like Crocker's being driven back again. And I think we're gonna accept that. We're gonna pull these guys back. We'll pull our artillery back here, hopefully without too many losses. They've done a great job. Before that volley, anyway. They had a 10-to-1 kill-to-death ratio before that volley. Ripley will run in. They can't use that defensive work because it's facing the wrong direction. We can have the Irish Brigade and the Iron Brigade fire into them. Now, unfortunately, the Confederates are going to be in good cover here. But the Iron Brigade is at least in decent cover. And hopefully we can just bring overwhelming muskets against them. Meanwhile, they're advancing some more troops to our center. Our supply wagon's going to need to go to the flank here because some of these guys are starting to run low on supply. Brigades on the right and our batteries here are all very well supplied. They've been in supply this entire time. So that's kind of an exposed position. There's a little bit of a salient even in those woods. These guys here are at least exposed and in the open. So Lynch is not doing quite as well as I would hope. Luckily also, these guys are all kind of one-to-one. Doesn't look like they're flanking us in the west. Meanwhile, Trimble and the Irish and the Springfields here are engaging and doing their job, holding the position. Dismount our cavalry here. Okay. So things are holding for the moment. Wood's brigade and Jones's brigade have been whittled down a bit here by our troops on the right. Lynch isn't giving a great account of himself, but he's also not exactly, you know, he's only lost 100 men so far, so he's hanging in there. Our supply wagon is almost out of supply, though. That's not great. Fortunately, this is just a one-day battle. So we're chewing into them pretty good here on the right. See, they've got a lot of men in a not very large space here. They're hanging in there. Gotta commend them. Hanging in there. I don't know why the Springfields weren't firing there, but they weren't. Rest assured, though, give them the order and they'll do it. Just taking casualties. He hasn't even fired a shot yet. All right, there they go. They'll give a volley here, right? Oh shit. Buckley's running, so we're gonna have Leppin move in. Hopefully, I gotta run up the hill. Don't really have any reserves here in this flank. Vladimir ran too. Leppin's flanked, trying to get into position. Right, maybe Buckley will go back in. Where's George B. Gamer? Give him a little bit of morale. So Leppin has routed. There's a melee in our center. How quickly things can change. Crocker's running again. What's new? Man, I would not want to be in Kershaw's regiment today. Guys. Buckley's back into position. Iron Brigade's in melee, Crocker's in melee. Everybody's running fast the wrong direction. Pardon me, guys. Don't chase them into the entire Confederate army, guys. God, they're just like racing. They're retreating into our rear? Alright, that's done. Hold Malvern Hill before nightfall. Alright. Should have some reserves coming up. Let's pause. We should have some reserves. We got to hold 3 more hours. Unfortunately, I think we only have to hold these rear 2 objectives for a victory. East 1, east, west. Lose less than 55% of your army. Okay. A draw at the very least seems likely. I'm actually going to go ahead and step out, guys. We've been going for about 45 minutes, so we've got the battle underway. We're hanging in there, but the enemy keeps on coming. There's a lot of them. Boy, are there a lot of them. We're low on supply, low on ammo, heavily outnumbered. We have brigades retreating into the rear of our lines. Somehow they retreated through our lines. And our right flank just kind of came undone, not because anyone was retreating, because they were doing the little jitterbug there as they were meleeing with each other, which was just bizarre. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. This is, again, returning to the Union Let's Play of Ultimate General Gettysburg. We will be returning to Cold Waters, which we've had a bit of an abbreviated absence from. We'll be returning to Cold Waters tomorrow with another one of our historical episodes. We'll be looking at the 1968 campaign. We'll be getting that started. And I probably will live stream it as well. So by the time you're listening to this, that'll be that, tonight. So that probably around 10:30, 11 o'clock Central Standard Time is my plan. But that can always change. Just follow the channel, and I'll send an alert out when it's coming. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. Until next time, it's the Historical Gamer saying thank you for watching, and I'm out.